in Osama City. You're watching One TV News Channel. One TV News Channel. Serving you with information, news, sports, and public affairs. One TV News Channel. One TV News Channel. Serving you with love. Ang telebisyong pangmasa. One TV News Channel. One TV News Channel. One TV special report.
Vice Mayor and you as the presiding officer.
There being 9 members present, the chair declares a quorum. Good morning. Asinsong buntag sa tanan. First of all, the chair would like to thank all participants, everybody, for sharing your very valuable time to attend to this important activity. The chair recognizes that this is a rare forum, public forum today, which gathers in attendance the pillars of justice system in Assam City. In particular, the members of the Assam City Special Decision Coordinating Council, led by the dynamic and stunning convener, Executive Judge Miripit R. Putoy Montero Ramos. Thank you, Your Honor. Of course, this collective activity, collaborative activity by the LGO and the Assam City Special Decision Coordinating Council. And this is a sort of an innovation in our public hearing due to the tasking, the format and tasking, whereby is the Assam City Decision who prepares the agenda and who sends the invitations to all stakeholders, but the house is Assam City LGO. So this is supported strongly by our City Mayor, Atty. Sano Medjipentes, and our Vice Mayor, Honorable Cipresa Bibi Oneri, and our City Admin, Ma'am Retisa Wano. In fact, the Mayor recognizes that the Assam City Special Decision is special to the LGO and to the Mayor. That is why he is preparing lunch for us today. As distinguished from a usual public hearing, the City Council provides only modest snacks, but today we have lunch. And I guess it will be a working lunch later on, as suggested by Judge Montero Ramos. Anyway, before I proceed, I would like to acknowledge all participants today in attendance. Mr. Secretary, please acknowledge our guests. So thank you again for coming. And I will now give the floor to Atty. Lim Labal of the OCC to present our guests and online participants this morning. Atty. Lim Labal, you have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, Mr. Presiding Officer. On the part of the Osama City Special Justice Zone, we would like to present our guests and the online participants. We have Mr. Henry S. Palma, the Project Management Support Associate of the UNOPS Philippines and the European Union Go Just 3. Mr. Palma, sir. Then next, we have Engineer Lionel D. Ordaneta, the Project Evaluation Officer 4 of the Project Implementation Monitoring and Evaluation Group, Program Management Office of the Supreme Court of the Philippines. Engineer Lionel. Then proceeding, Your Honor, we have Police Staff Sergeant IDN Flor P. Akaak, the Chief Investigator of the Women and Children Cybercrime Protection Center of the Regional Anti-Cybercrime Unit 10. That would be on this part, Your Honor, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. We proceed to the next item, Your Honor, the part of the Osamis City Special Justice Zone Coordinating Council. We have the presentation on the viability of the proposed inclusion of the Multidisciplinary Task Force against USAIC-CSAM in the ordinance, to be presented by Police Staff Sergeant IDN Flor P. Akaak, the Chief Investigator of the Women and Children Cybercrime Protection Center, Regional Anti-Cybercrime Unit 10.
Okay, perhaps later on we'll go back to the other online speakers if they will become available.
Good day, honorable members of the Sangguniang Panglungsod, distinguished guests and stakeholders. Today, in behalf of my Regional Chief, Police Colonel Kasansi Ali of the Regional Anti-Cybercrime Unit 10, I will present the viability of including a multidisciplinary task force against USAIC and CSAM in the proposed RA 11930 City Ordinance of Osamis. My position is simple. It is viable and necessary. The purpose is not to create another layer of bureaucracy but to create a clear mechanism where the right agencies act together for the right child. As we can see, the legal mandate, the RA 11930, is not only a law enforcement problem. A child will need a rescue, a social work, medical care, social support, education, of course, an investigation, prosecution, and a long-term reintegration. A local response must therefore bring these functions together while respecting each agency's mandate. In Section 33 of RA 11930, the local coordination expressly directs local governments to pass an ordinance localizing efforts against USAIC and CSAM. The proposed task force is therefore a mechanism to give practical local effect to that mandate. Why a multidisciplinary team or an MDT? Of course, the IRR or the Implementing Rules and Regulation of the RA 11930 reinforce local coordination by strengthening and mobilizing child protection structures and recognizing specialized anti-USAIC-CSAM task force or units. This proposal should complement, not replace, the LPC, the LCPC, the LCAT-VAUC, or the BCPC and other existing mechanisms. The MDT, imagine one USAIC report. It can require immediate assessment, social welfare intervention, a digital evidence preservation, a medical or psychological services, legal action, and long-term recovery. Coordination is what connects these stages. One child, one coordinated response. Proposed composition. The importance of the multidisciplinary team or task force is that it gives the ordinance a concrete, victim-centered mechanism, not merely a policy framework or a list of agencies that are expected to coordinate. When a child victim is identified, the ordinance should answer a practical question. What happens to this child? Next, who takes responsibility for the immediate protection of the child? Who conduct the assessment? Who provides psychosocial and medical intervention? Of course, who handles the investigation? Who facilitates the legal process? And who ensures that the child continues to receive support after the operation or the case filing? The multidisciplinary team provides that pathway. It brings the appropriate professionals together around the needs of the child, rather than requiring the child to navigate different agencies independently. This is particularly important in our USAIC and CSAM cases, and of course, the trafficking in person, where the child may simultaneously be a victim of abuse, a source of digital evidence, and a child in need of immediate protection and psychosocial care. The response must therefore protect the child while preserving the integrity of the investigation and respecting the mandates of every participating agency. In this sense, the multidisciplinary team or the task or the MDT becomes the bridge between the ordinances, between this ordinance as a policy and the ordinance as an actual child protection mechanism. So what will be the task force actually do? Prevent, detect, respond, investigate, and prosecute, recover, and reintegrate. The task force should be, or the MDT should be functional rather than unnecessarily large. Core members can include the city government, the PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group, PNP Ozami City Police Station, social welfare, justice sector partners, health, education, barangays, and other relevant agencies. Members can be invited depending on the case. So success is not measured by meetings conducted, but by the children protected and supported. So what will the task force actually do? The 5 core functions are prevention, detection, response, investigation, prosecution, support, and recovery reintegration. The task force should be evaluated by outcomes, not by the number of meetings conducted. So why the proposal is viable for Ozami? Ozami City can implement this because the legal foundation exists, local structures already exist, and the mechanism can maximize existing mandates and resources, subject to lawful appropriations. Institutionalization through ordinance also give continuity. So our recommendation is to include the multidisciplinary team in the Ozami City Republic Act 11930 ordinance. Design it as safeguards, avoid creating another bureaucracy. The ordinance should provide clearly defined agency rules and responsibilities. So safeguards are essential. The ordinance should define rules, referral pathways, victim-centered procedures, confidentiality, data protection, monitoring, and funding. The goal is a coordinating mechanism, not another bureaucracy. A coordinating mechanism, not a duplicating office. So our recommendation is to include the multidisciplinary team or the multidisciplinary tasks in the ordinance, but design it as a coordinating mechanism, a child protection system, and a sustainable local program. A coordinating mechanism, a child protection system, and a sustainable program, not just a one-time project. So honorable members of Ozami City, we are not proposing another office. We are proposing that the offices we already have worked together before another child becomes another case number. Prevention is better than rescue. Coordination is better than fragmentation. Protection is better than reaction. So we are not, the MDT should be a child protection system, not just a law enforcement body. So localize, coordinate, protect, respond, recover in the best interest of every child in Ozami City. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Ma'am Flor Akaak, for your informative and nice presentation. We go back to Attorney Lim Labal for further presentation of our guests on online.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. We would like to go back to the previous item on the presentation of guests and online participants and to hear some words or statements. First, we have Mr. Henry S. Palma, the Project Management Support Associate of the United Nations Office for Project Services and the European Union Governance in Justice Program, or the EU GoJust 3. Mr. Henry S. Palma, sir.
Proceed, Sir Palma.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Honorable members of the Sangguniang Lungsod of Ozami, distinguished guests, Your Honors, attorneys, colleagues, good morning po. I'm Henry Palma, Justice Zone Coordinator for the Osamis City Justice Zone. And I'm part of the EU Go Just program. And we're very happy that we've been invited to the special public hearing of the proposed OSAIC-SISAM Ordinance and the Multidisciplinary Task Force against OSAIC-SISAM. Just a quick background about the EU Go Just program. We are funded by the European Union, and we work with the justice sector agencies in the Philippines, which include the Supreme Court, Department of Justice, and Department of Interior, Local and Government. The program is actually implemented by the International Development Law Organization and the United Nations Office for Project Services. Our program is actually aimed at improving access to justice for all Filipinos through a more effective, inclusive, and accountable justice system. So we achieve our objective through two mechanisms. One is the justice sector coordination and delivery, and the other one is access to justice for all through our grant facility program. For our justice sector coordination and delivery, we aim to develop more coordinated, efficient, gender-sensitive, and people-centered justice services. And we are one of the development partners of the Justice Sector Coordinating Council, composed of the Supreme Court, DOJ, and DILG. And we have been providing support to all of the justice zones in the Philippines, including the Region 10 Tri-City Justice Zones, in which Osamis City is part of. And we understand that Osamis City Justice Zone is one of the Tri-Cities identified by the JSCC as a role model in the fight against OSAIC, and having the most number of operations and convictions based on the data from the Interagency Council Against Trafficking, or IACAT, and the NCC OSAIC-SISAM. Being one of the development partners of the Justice Sector Coordinating Council, we have been extending support to the JZs in the form of technical assistance, capacity building to the JZ Secretariat and its members, financial support to the implementation of these activities and priority areas, and lastly is ICT infrastructure. We are happy also to share some of the efforts that we have supported, focusing on OSAIC-SISAM in the PACU. One of them is the comprehensive multidisciplinary initiative Wipeout, which is designed to empower and equip stakeholders, especially law enforcement, social workers, prosecution, and judiciary, for an effective investigation and prosecution of cases related to trafficking in persons and OSAIC-SISAM. We've also supported advocacy campaigns and barangay awareness information drives of justice zones in partnership with schools and also barangays. And also psychosocial activity with the victims of OSAIC-SISAM, and the establishment of a one-stop center in which we provided equipment in the video in the interview room for this specific facility in select areas in the Philippines. And lastly, we also provided support to the development and rollout of the NCC OSAIC-SISAM strategic plan. With this, we look forward to working with the City of Osamis and the Osamis City Justice Zone in strengthening its efforts against the fight to OSAIC-SISAM. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Henry Palma, for your very informative presentation. We'll now go back to Attorney Lino Naval for further interaction with other guests.
Thank you, Your Honor, Mr. Presiding Officer. We proceed to the next online participant and guest. From the Supreme Court of the Philippines, we have Engineer Lionel D. Ordaneta, the Project Evaluation Officer 4 of the Project Implementation Monitoring and Evaluation Group, Program Management Office, Supreme Court of the Philippines. Engineer Ordaneta, sir. Your Honor, please. We would like to thank you very much, Your Honor, for the recognition. I'd like to proceed to the next item, Your Honor, but on behalf of the Osamis City Special Justice Zone Coordinating Council, with our lead convener, the Honorable Executive Judge Mary Faith R. Potoy Monte de Ramos, and the members, all the members of the Osamis City Justice Zone, Special Justice Zone Coordinating Council, with our honorable judges and the other partners and collaborators of this Justice Zone. I'd like to thank you, Your Honor, for giving us the floor.
Thank you, Attorney Naval, for your presentation. I hope later on we can go back to Supreme Court. Sir General Linel Ordanitan, if he can be available later on.
Yes, Your Honor. Submit to that.
So in the meantime, we'll proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, please.
So we now proceed to item number 7, presentation of the and discussion of the proposed OSAIC-CSIM ordinance. Before I give the floor to the legal team of the NGO, I'd like you to know that this ordinance underwent a strict scrutiny and review by the members of the Sam City Special Justice Zone Auditing Council. Nag-meeting yun last August 14 tungkol sa itong ordinance. So that is how the Special Justice Zone gave importance to our ordinance. So thank you, Judge A.J. Ramos, ma'am, and the other judges and the other members of the Special Justice Zone of Sam City. Thank you very much. And now we'll proceed to the presentation and discussion of our proposed OSAIC-CSIM ordinance. I give the floor now to Attorney Pasisorita and Attorney Dodge Edward Dudot, whoever you wish to discuss first this ordinance. You have the floor.
To the members of Sangguniang Panglungsod, to our Vice Mayor, Simply Shabumineri, to our Presiding Officer, Attorney Mars, members of the Osamis City Special Justice Zone, members of the Judiciary, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
On behalf of the City Legal Office, I am Attorney Dudes at Gadutdut, and I will be presenting the proposed anti-OSAIC-CSIM ordinance. So, for our whereas clauses, we emphasize the state's responsibility to defend the rights of the children under the 1987 Constitution, and also under the Anti-Child Abuse Law, or RA 7610, there is the policy of the state to provide special protection to children from all forms of abuse. RA 7160, or the Local Government Code, stresses that the LGU shall exercise its powers for its efficient and effective governance and those essential to the promotion of the general welfare. RA 7160 also provides that the Sangguniang Panglungsod shall enact or approve resolutions and appropriate funds for the general welfare of the city and its inhabitants. RA 11930, or the Anti-OSAIC-CSIM Act, provides that local governments shall pass an ordinance to localize efforts against OSAIC and CSIM. The law also provides for the state's policy to provide special protection to children from all forms of sexual violence, abuse, and exploitation, especially those committed with the use of the ICT, or the Informations and Communications Technology. RA 11862 defined online sexual abuse of exploitation of children and child sexual abuse and exploitation material, or child sexual abuse material. It is also stressed that the City of Osamis has and continues to demonstrate exemplary child-friendly governance, and the acknowledgement that the internet enables the harming of children by making it easier for them to produce, access, and share sexual abuse materials. Not to mention other harms that the internet provides us. No? The DILG Memorandum Circular Number 2024-094 integrates the enactment of local ordinance against OSAIC and CSIM as one of the indicators of the child-friendly local governance audit. There is also the adoption of stronger legislative measures in support of online safety of children in the city, paving the way for the protection and development of the child. And finally, the launch by the JSCC of Osamis City as a special justice zone and its subsequent institutionalization under Ordinance Number 1314-2024-A. So now let us move on to the provisions of the proposed ordinance. So this ordinance shall be known as an ordinance prohibiting online sexual abuse and exploitation of children and child sexual abuse and exploitation of materials in the City of Osamis, or the Anti-OSAIC-CSIM Ordinance. So as its scope, it covers all but not limited to households, internet and allied business establishments, private business establishments, educational institutions, healthcare institutions, religious institutions, government agencies, and its facilities within the city of Azamis. So we wanted to broaden the scope of OSA-XISAM to not only include households or internet establishments, but also government, healthcare, and religious institutions as well. For the declaration of policy, this first paragraph is adopted from Section 2 of RA 11930, no? That the city of Azamis recognizes the vital role of youth in nation building and shall promote and protect their physical, moral, spiritual, intellectual, emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So towards this end, the city of Azamis hereby declares as policy that first, each child shall be protected against the ill effects of and the dangers of unsafe internet use and prevent online abuse and sexual exploitation, especially in today's technological era. Second, families, parents, and guardians and their children shall be educated and well-informed about the positive parenting, specifically guiding their children on the proper use and adoption of internet or online-offline safety behaviors. Next is that persons in government offices and other public and private institutions shall be educated on OSA-XISAM as it evolves and on how to respond to technology-based trafficking in persons and are capacitated to respond according to their mandates. And we have online businesses and other allied services or enterprises, including data providers, money transfers, IT equipment providers, and internet installers shall be compliant with existing laws and its provisions in ensuring online safety. So now let us move on to the definition of terms. I will not discuss or elaborate everything, just the salient points. So first we have ACT. No? First refers to RA 11930 or the Anti-OSA-XISAM Act. Child refers to a person below 18 years of age or over but is unable to fully take care of themselves from abuse, neglect, cruelty, exploitation, or discrimination because of a physical or mental disability or condition. It also refers to a person regardless of age who is presented, depicted, or portrayed as a child, or those computer-generated, digitally or manually crafted images or graphics of a person who is represented or is made to appear to be a child. So, for example, those AI-generated graphics of children or those digitally altered through Photoshop or other similar applications. No? So those are also considered as a child under the ordinance. So child sexual abuse, it's very self-explanatory, no? Refers to any form of communication through any platform or any physical interaction between a child and any person when the child is being used for any act of activity inducing sexual stimulation or for the purpose of sexual gratification or in pursuit of the desire to have carnal knowledge of the child, no? Regardless of the perpetrator, regardless of the gender of the perpetrator or the victim, or even with or without the consent of the victim, because as we all know, children cannot give consent. Child sexual exploitation refers to the following, you know? Child sexual abuse with consideration, whether monetary or non-monetary favor, consideration, or benefit in exchange for the opportunity to perform such abusive or exploitative act, actual sexual intercourse with a child with or without consideration, employing fraud, machination, undue influence, intimidation, threat or deception by any person to commit sexual abuse or sexual intercourse with a child, or those any analogous acts related to child abuse, cruelty, exploitation, or to be responsible for other conditions prejudicial to the development of the child. Of course, the definition of CISAM as adopted from Section 3C of the RA 11930 refers to any representation, whether offline or with the use of ICT by means of combination of visual, video, audio, or written by any electronic, digital, optical, or any other means, no? Or those with the engagement of a child or involvement in real or simulated sexual activities or depicting acts of sexual abuse or exploitation of a child as a sexual object. So it can also include materials for the that focus on the genitalia or other private body parts of the child, no? And we can also use CISAM or CSAM interchangeably. For internet cafes, self-explanatory, those who proposes or offers services to the public by use of computers, no, or accessing the internet like PisoNets and other internet cafes. Online sexual abuse and exploitation of children, again, as adopted under Section 3T of Anti-OSAIC-CISAM Act, refers to the use of ICT as a means to abuse or exploit children sexually. No? It can include the dissemination and possession of CISAM, online grooming of children for sexual purposes, no? Sexual extortion of children, sharing image-based sexual abuse, commercial sexual exploitation of children, no, and the like. And it can be used interchangeably with OXI, or the online child sexual exploitation or abuse. Sexual activity, this is also adopted under the RA 11930, no, refers to any of the following acts, no? So we have sexual intercourse or lascivious acts, basically involving sexual activity, no? And other analogous circumstances. Payment service provider refers to an entity engaged in monetary transaction, including banks, fiat or digital money service businesses, credit card companies, cryptocurrencies, and other financial institutions. We would like to extend the scope of payment service providers, not only just offline, no, like through, for example, Louvillier or any offline remittance centers, but we also want to include online banking, no, especially with the advent of technology. So we have now online banks like GCash and banks who offer online services. So we want to encapsulate the entirety of the financial institutions. And then we also have sexual abuse or exploitation material, no? So we have already discussed that earlier, referring to any online or offline representation, whether visual or audio or written, no, by electronic, digital, mechanical, or other means of child engaged or involved in real or simulated explicit sexual activities. So in the online platform, sexual abuse or exploitation includes, exploitation material includes visual or audio or written materials, no, and which is distributed via email, text message, instant messaging, peer-to-peer file sharing, no, social media platforms, and encrypted communication apps of trade on password-protected sites, bulletin boards, and forums. So videotaped in-depth interview, it's a video-recorded inquiry or proceeding conducted by duly trained members of multidisciplinary team or representatives of law enforcement or child protective services, no, for the purposes of determining whether there is a commission of child abuse.